How's it, fellas? Thanks for tuning in again today. It's Monday. I don't know when you're going to be watching this, but it's Monday. It's just after lunchtime, middle of the afternoon. Mondays, I tend to have the morning to myself as a bit of a rest day. And quite often when my daughter's at work, at school, and my wife's at work, I sit down and watch a movie. It's not always easy to watch the kind of movies I like when you've got a 7-year-old running around, so you've got to take your moments when you can. And I watched a movie this morning called Sound of Freedom. It's not exactly light entertainment or anything like that. I knew the content of the movie before I started watching it, and it blew me away. It was a really amazing movie to watch, a really hard movie to watch, but one that I'm glad that I sat down and took the time to watch. I don't want to spoil too much of it. I don't want to spoil any of it for anybody that's not actually watched the movie. But obviously, if you know about it, it's about human trafficking and in particular the child sex trade. And I was really horrified by some of what I was watching, just the realization that things like this is still happening in our world today. It's not a fictional story. It's based on a true story. Obviously, it's been Hollywoodized, so to speak, but the story itself is real. And the sex trade, as we know, the human trafficking is real. It's real in our world today. I was horrified by what I saw. I was horrified by the age of some of these children that were snatched and some of the things that they were made to do as children. It really is an eye-opener, you know. One of the things that really stood out for me was the main character, the officer who made it his life purpose to try and get as many children free as possible. I don't want to say more than that because it will spoil the whole content of the movie, but just his commitment, eh? A guy's name is Tim Ballard. Tim Ballard. Wow. The commitment and the character and the determination to do what he felt he was being called to do was just, it was a real example to me. The sacrifice that he was prepared to pay. I mean, he's a husband, he's got his own children, and I think maybe the fact that he's got his own children, maybe that was a bit of a motivating factor for him, to try and get other children set free from this horrible sex trade and human trafficking. I think when you've got children and you kind of think, what if it was one of my children? It really does make you stand up and really think about what's going on there. It would kill me if anything like that happened to my daughter. But I think he had more in him than that. We are all horrified by this kind of stuff, but would we all be prepared to lay down our life for this kind of stuff? And that's what we see in this guy. He put himself in situations where he could have easily lost his life, to try and get children free. And that really, really spoke to me, you know. I think God, or life, depending if you follow God. I follow God. I think he lays things on our hearts, things that become a bit of a passion, a bit of a driving force for us. Not everyone's going to be driven by a desire to want to end human trafficking or the child sex industry. As horrifying as that is for each and every one of us, I'm sure, but all of us are on board as far as being active in that. The kind of passions on my heart are it's men's ministry. I've spoken in other videos about coming alongside men and encouraging them through their own journey through life, and some of the emotional stuff that they go through, some of the pains and the hurts that they're dealing with in life, and sort of coming alongside them and encouraging them to experience healing in those areas. Coming alongside men and thinking, particularly maybe about the fatherless generation and the life skills that we've kind of missed out on because nobody's taught us those things. That's the sort of thing that's really gripped my heart. And also I'm active in the church. I lead a house church, and it's not just about discipling people, although that's a massive part of what my wife and I do. It's about pointing people to Jesus. I was thinking about spiritual gifts earlier on, and what's the point of spiritual gifts? They are to point people to Jesus, and I really want to point people to Jesus in and through my life. So that's the kind of things that's on my heart. I want to be more passionate. I want to take the example of Tim and be more committed, more passionate, more hungry for making a difference in the areas that have been laid on my heart. I know that I come up short at this stage. I don't think the kind of work that I'm doing is likely to see me having to put my life at risk. You never know, maybe I'll get called to the Middle East and maybe that's exactly what I'll be doing. But in the here and now, I don't see that I'm putting my life at risk for this kind of work. And maybe because there's not so much danger, it makes what I do a little bit easier. So you kind of just go with it rather than have to show that kind of passion and commitment and sacrifice. But I want to be more, switched on and more passionate about what I'm doing. And that's the challenge that I've taken away from this movie. I'm seeking after God to kind of give me that passion. Jesus is a brilliant example. His mission, his passion was our salvation, the salvation of you and me. And he was prepared to pay the ultimate sacrifice and go to the cross for that passion. How much passion have I got in me for the things that he's laid on my heart? I want that passion to increase. So how about you guys? I've been challenged. Maybe just listening to my post today has challenged you. Maybe you need to go away and watch Sound of Freedom for yourself. But what things are on your heart? What passions do you have? What horrifies you? What is it? Do you want to point people to Jesus? What is it that's on your heart that you really want to make a difference in? And how can you be motivated to really step out there, just the same as Tim did? And I mean, at one stage, without spoiling the movie again, he's almost at the end of the time he has to do in his job to get his full pension, and he gives up his job, I think 8 months before he's going to get a full pension. That's how much, that's another example of how much he was prepared to sacrifice to make a difference. So how about you? How much passion have you got for the things on your heart? And how can you make a difference? I thank the Lord that he's challenged me in this way. And I hope he's going to challenge you in a very similar way. I think as men of God, if we can really get passionate about things, we can really make a difference in this world. And that, I believe, is what each and every one of us has been called to do in our own way, make a difference in our world. So guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm Mark, and I'm part of Man Aware. And I'm really enjoying sharing these videos with you. I'll speak to you again soon. Bless you guys.